All right, let's go over some email and messaging campaigns. So, with email messaging, they're a really good way to connect with potential and also your current clients. They can help you sell more training packages, keep your clients more engaged, and build better long term relationships. Now, the key is knowing how to write messages that grab attention and using automation to save time and keep things personal. So, we're going to be adding more and more email campaigns to the course over time. The reason why they're not a huge emphasis as compared to scripts for text and phone calls is that pretty simply to get to from 0 to 10K, you don't need email campaigns. To get to a massive scale in your business, you definitely need email campaigns. And I know of very few successful businesses that don't have email as one of their primary marketing tools. So here's a couple of ways that we can do our emails. If we're doing a sales email, a really good email can turn a lead into a client. So you need to have interesting, clear emails that encourage action. So you need an attention grabbing subject line. So the subject line is the first thing people see. You can write them with a name in them. That's really good. You can use them to create curiosity and keep it short and clear. Okay, so the strong subject line makes people want to open your email instead of ignoring it. And generally, what you'll see is in your email open rate, the percentage of open rate, it will go up the better your headlines are. And that's really the best way to test it. So when you're writing your emails, if you see that you're getting like a 1 to 2%, 1 to 5% open rate, just as an example, it means that your headlines are kind of boring. So we need to sort that shit out, okay, and give more interesting, engaging emails. So you can go into ChatGPT and write, give me captivating email headings that are, call to action specific and use a negative hook line, for example. There's also a email headline generator. There's tons of email analyst tools that you can go on and you actually find out how good your email headline is, and it'll give it a score based on 0 to 100, with 100 being ideal and 0 not being ideal. Now, in structuring your emails for maximal impact, there's a couple of number of ways that you can kind of do this, but this is kind of how we do it. We want to start with the hook. So get their attention with a bold statement, a question, or a relatable problem. From there, we want to give value, like how to do it, make an offer, and then have a call to action. So each email should have that kind of structure if you're doing it. Now, the call to action doesn't always have to be a call to buy. Call to action could be go to the gym, try it out, and let me know how you are. Go to the gym, take a photo, tag me in your social media post. There's lots of call to actions that you can particularly have. I generally don't think you should be having a call to action to buy your program every single email. It will depend on the frequency in which you send them out, but we don't want to have it every email. Now, from here, we want to also use automated messaging and emails to do that, okay? So you can do this with your email sequences or something like ManyChat or a chatbot, any other chatbot tool. I would recommend you start with automated email sequences first because you can use that to really structure your onboarding and to have a couple of key engagement sequences that are going to make sure that you save a whole bunch of time, and personalized messages can come a little bit later on down the path. Now, with these personalized messages, there's no point moving to a message story, a message script, that goes out to every single person until you got the volume to do that. Because what happens when you have a high amount of volume, you don't need a high amount of individualization. When you have a low amount of volume, the higher individualization will lead to higher sales. So as your volume of leads comes in, the amount of individualization you need to make sales goes down. That's one thing that you want to take on board. And there's always going to be a trade-off there. So with automated sequences, you want to have a welcome sequence. So we have one for you that you can use. You'll have a follow-up sequence for people who showed interest but didn't sign up yet. That will be specific to the offer that you're giving. A client engagement sequence with weekly check-ins, motivation, and tips to keep clients engaged, like a newsletter. And reactivation sequence if someone leaves to bring them back on board. And it saves time and it makes sure that every single client, and lead gets the right messages that are useful for them. Then we want personalized messages to increase engagement. So, use their name, mention the goals, and acknowledge their actions. And that's something that you can do far more individualized rather than using templates for it. So this is what I want you to apply for your business today. So if you are doing sales emails, what's the ideal subject line? Spend like 80% of your time thinking of the subject line and the topic to make sure it's engaging, and then 20% in the content, because the content kind of writes itself. You already know the solutions. The headline is what people see, so you should spend the majority of time on that. Next question is, what type of automated sequence can help you the most and why? And for most of us who'll be watching this, it'll be onboarding sequences. Onboarding sequences save you time, effort, and energy and increase your retention. So if you don't have a good onboarding sequence, please invest the time, effort, and energy to make one. And Well, there's one way you can personalize your emails or messages to make them more engaging. I would not worry so much about the emails here. I would be worried much more about the messaging that you're sending to people, and make sure that you are individualizing them as much as you can.